Alright guys, so this is another fanfiction idea, and this is going to be a fun one, because this is going to be not only a Godzilla one, this is going to focus on a specific Godzilla character, and that is SpaceGodzilla. So this is SpaceGodzilla, Master of Puppets. Which, yes, this is a reference to Metallica, Master of Puppets. I'm sure everyone caught that the moment they saw this title. Anyway, so the story begins, actually, after a great battle has ended. Essentially what has happened is that G-Force responded to an attack in Spain by SpaceGodzilla, and the united efforts of Kiryu and Mogera managed to defeat SpaceGodzilla and more or less knock him out. And in a interesting move, rather because now they have a kaiju here that's been KO'd. The heads of G-Force are like, we could study SpaceGodzilla. We could study him because rarely so often do we ever get a kaiju unconscious right at our doorstep, and rarely ever more do we ever get to study a kaiju in any capacity. So SpaceGodzilla especially gives us a brilliant opportunity. It gives us a once in a lifetime opportunity where we could literally learn everything we ever wanted to know about kaiju, and more specifically, this kaiju born from an anomaly in space. And maybe we could learn. Maybe this could help us defeat Godzilla. And meanwhile, the pilots of both mechs are like, "Are you fucking crazy? That's SpaceGodzilla. That's one of the most dangerous kaiju to ever, exist. What are we doing?" But unfortunately, they're forced to bring him back to a secure island facility by G-Force, where they keep SpaceGodzilla under lock and key. So from here on out, it goes a little different, because SpaceGodzilla gets locked in. He gets put in place, and they even put a little neuralizer on him to keep him from forming crystals. And more or less, whenever he tries to form one of his crystals inside the building or on the island, basically what it will do is shock him. It'll give a feedback on his power, and it will harm him. So they're like, yeah, SpaceGodzilla is going nowhere. He is in no way, shape, or form going to do anything other than sit there and let us study him. Well, as you can imagine, this goes about as well as you think. So basically what happens over the next few days, scientists are called from all across the globe to help study SpaceGodzilla, and they're taking DNA samples, they're taking skin samples, they're even chipping away at his giant crystals. And the whole time, they notice something interesting about SpaceGodzilla. He's not moving. He's not thrashing. He's not he's not even making a growl that he doesn't like this. And it's almost like all he does is just stare out into he's zoned out. All he's doing is just sitting there and just kind of zoned out. He's not even fighting them. He's not even making any signs of aggression. And one guy's like, "Oh, well, that can't be too bad. Maybe he knows he's under arrest. Maybe he knows, what his fate is once we figure out how to kill him, and then figure out how to kill Godzilla." And someone immediately goes, "Yeah," or he's thinking of something. And everyone's like, kaiju are smart, but they're not that smart to articulate a plan. And to which they're like, well, on one hand, SpaceGodzilla has been documented as one of the most intelligent kaiju. And they're like, so that doesn't prove anything. And they're like, yeah, but you ever stop to think, or a really scary thought? What if he wanted to get caught? What if what if he wanted to get caught and be brought here? And they're like, even if that were true, what would he gain from that? Like, what would SpaceGodzilla, if he had that level of intellect, really, what would he gain from that? And he's like, and everyone, and they're like, what couldn't he gain from that? Like, you mean the place that literally builds weapons to destroy his greatest enemy and possibly kill him in the process? I don't know what in the world he could gain from any of that. I have no idea why he would suddenly have so much interest in the one place in the world that has built the one thing that could kill Godzilla, and as well as build other weapons and giant machines that could kill the one monster that stood a chance against him, and by in turn kill him. Couldn't think of it. Also, if I was to pick, like, what character would be the one voicing all of this, it'd probably be... if I was to pick a character that would be, like, the mouthpiece for this story, if I was to pick one character to be the mouthpiece for this story, it'd probably be... well, Miki would probably be scared. Like, yeah, Miki would be voicing this, and Akane as well. Yeah, Akane would probably be our main protagonist here, where SpaceGodzilla, like, she's already, like, SpaceGodzilla's planning something, guys. He's, like, he is smart. So, from there, it kind of, the story would devolve into, like, almost something out of H.P. Lovecraft, where, essentially, what happens now is that over the weeks, people are, like, getting aggressive, people are starting to fight each other, they're even, like, in the mess hall, like, two members of the G-Force, like, Mechagodzilla pilot crew threaten to, like, try to stab each other over the last muffin, and they're like, and everyone's like, what the hell is going on? And not only that, people are becoming, like, more... Like, people are zoning out, people are even, like, they find one person has killed himself in a storage closet. Another person tried to jump out of the building, the higher levels of the building, and they're slowly kind of, like, this G-Force base is slowly devolving into madness. Like, there's bouts of insanity, everyone's just exhausted all the damn time, everyone's aggressive, they're fighting, no one knows what's going on. That, again, like, we go back to, this becomes more of, like, a H.P. Lovecraft story. Meanwhile, SpaceGodzilla is just zoned out, until finally, they're like, what the hell is going on? And then someone goes, I was learning. And it turns out, yeah, SpaceGodzilla not only let himself be captured, but what he's been really doing is testing the limits of his telekinesis and his telepathy. He's been basically let himself be captured because SpaceGodzilla explains through a person he's using like a puppet that he had become more and more as he was living out in space after a recent defeat with Godzilla, he was becoming more and more self-aware. Like, he was learning how to form coherent thoughts, he was learning how to form plans, he was learning at a sharp pace. And he does go on, like, yeah, it caused a little bit of an existential crisis for me, but then I thought, if I could think, then I could plan. And I needed to study the full extent of how far I could push my powers. So, what better way to do it than how you humans use guinea pigs? Only this time you were the guinea pigs. So yeah, SpaceGodzilla, like I said, let himself be captured, and then he's been more or less testing his telekinesis and telepathy and projecting it into the minds of everyone around him, and more or less just kind of getting a hold on all of them. He's like, I could have left any time I wanted. I really could have just gotten up and left whenever I so choose. But I needed to know how powerful I could get. Like, it was a new muscle in my brain. And like all muscles, you have to give it an exercise. So thank you, humans, for giving me a little bit of an exercise. However, I will not make this a simple process. And they're like, what's going to be not a simple process? Your deaths. And then he just breaks out. He just unleashes just this wave of of telepathic energy that drives everyone into like a frenzy, and he makes them all kill each other as he's like breaking out of his cell and leaving. So yeah, he just lets everyone in the base kill each other, like the Belko experiment. Just they go all Belko experiment on each other, and SpaceGodzilla is just like deuces and leaves back into the stars, now realizing that he has like new abilities, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna turn these on Godzilla hard. So there you go, guys. There's my SpaceGodzilla story. I thought this would be kind of fun to do. This would be a pretty fun one to do because, yeah, make a SpaceGodzilla-oriented story. I thought that would be kind of a neat little twist, and make it not like a typical, like, Toho giant monster fight. Like I said, I wanted to go for more of like a H.P. Lovecraft kind of feel with this. So yeah, you guys just comment below, let me know what you guys thought of this. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.